on this computer. Okay, so my thought is that we will just come together once a week on Sunday or Monday or whatever. I will throw it up probably, last minute because that's who I am, and be like, hey, let's get on, let's do some reflecting. It'll probably be, let me just say, it will be Sunday night unless something crazy happens and I just can't do it on Sunday night. Like next weekend, probably a lot of people are traveling. I know I'm traveling, but I'm more than willing to hop on a car ride. So I will let you know when it gets to that point. But I want these to be quick. I want them to be efficient. I want to give you feedback, and I want you to have time to answer questions. First, I just want to mention, it is so exciting for me to see all of your faces because the majority of you are not my personally sponsored coaches. And that's really cool to me because that means that I have coaches whose coaches' teams are growing. And that's like a dream of mine, is that we have this big organization where like everybody's making moves. So I'm really, really excited about that. I think that's really cool. So should I do my feedback? Do you want to know the good things first, or do you want the areas of improvement first? Somebody give me your opinion.
Let's start with good. I vote good first.
Okay. So I would say overall this week, I had a lot more good to say than I have as far as feedback on what we can improve, because I was just so proud that you are doing the thing. Like, I have never seen so many coaches on my downline posting about coaching and talking about the business. And for me, that's really exciting because that means your businesses are growing, and I could see the passion and I could see the fire and I could see how you're ready to grow. So you're doing it. That's number one. And you have committed to working towards Diamond. So that's huge. Number two, I've received so many personal messages from so many of you that you're scared or you're nervous or you feel anxious about something, but you're doing it anyway. And I cannot tell you how proud that makes me, because I feel like that's when your business and when you as a person actually start making moves. So super proud of that. Third one is confidence. I have seen, whether it's like fake it till you make it type of confidence, or if you all are feeling different, there is a lot of confidence on this team in the way you're posting and in the way you're talking about coaching. I saw it on live videos. I've seen it on stories, and I'm really proud about that, because I feel like before your business can really take off and before you can make moves, you do have to 100% believe in what you're offering. Otherwise, people are going to feel like it's fake. Like, you have to 100,000% believe in your mission, your vision, before you can build a team. And I've seen it this week. Number four, I've kind of mentioned it already, but just it is so encouraging to me to hear and see you talking about the business. Like, and I've seen it all week long, and it just makes me so proud and excited to hear you talking about it. Fifth thing I thought is making it work for you. Like, several of you did things a little bit of your own way, or you didn't like stick 100% to my schedule. And I like that, because that means to me that you're not just taking it at face value because I didn't want you to do that anyway, but you're really making it work for your schedule and your life and for your message. Even when I watched you go live, a lot of you didn't even really stick to what I said for the live video, but you went live anyway. And I thought that was really super cool. Like, I don't want it to be this thing that you feel confined in or put you in a box. I want it to be a guide. And I saw many of you doing it that way, and I really liked that. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was I've just gotten a lot of questions this week, like clarifying questions about the business, just interaction with me and helping me know how to help you. And when people ask me questions, I always know for sure that that means that you are doing something right. Like, if you don't have any questions, you're probably not pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, or you're probably not doing new things, and you're probably not growing your business. But questions to me are a really good sign. So with that being said, what celebrations do you have? I want to hear from you.
Okay, I'll go.
Here.
It's fine. So yeah, I did not completely like stick to the plan, just because like I even, which is probably not the best move, but I had my coach mentorship thing open, but after listening to the call last week, it was probably the lowest engagement that my audience, like, they really didn't want to engage with that. So that means that I probably need to approach my audience in a different format to make this, it was too coachy for them basically. So I need to redo it, revamp it. And then Paige, you and I have like a really like open conversation, which I probably haven't been that open with anyone. about like what's truly going on in my head, because it's a really scary place in there sometimes. But like having that conversation has kind of given me like how I'm going to approach it and what this next week is going to kind of look like for what I'm sharing with my audience and how I'm going to breadcrumb that throughout. So that's been super exciting. Plus, I do have one of my own coaches that went to Summit with me that is like completely on board with this, and she's doing her own thing. She's sticking with this. She's moving through it. She's doing it her own way. So that's also exciting to see that someone's doing it alongside me as well.
I love that. Agree with all of those. I also want to mention a celebration that I should have put down is we had in our Diamond group 7. So you guys added 7 new coaches in a week, which is really cool. And 3 people hit the goal of adding 2 coaches each. So that was really amazing. I was really proud of that too. Who else has a celebration to share?
So I didn't add anyone, but I thought as far as posting goes, I kind of feel like I improved a lot. And so I was kind of happy with my posts for the week.
That's a huge celebration. Like seriously, when you start to feel good about what you're posting, and if you start getting people engaged and you feel excited to post, I mean, our businesses, the foundation of them, like they are on social media. So that's a humongous win. That's great. Anybody else have a celebration? Meredith, I know you have a celebration. Shelby, go for it.
I definitely, like, as much as I really have been passionate about this and like on board about this since the very beginning, I don't feel like I shared as much of that like with my like Instagram people. Like when I talk to people about it like in person or like even over text or people I've invited just like kind of randomly, like they can tell, but I don't think I've shared that like on my Instagram that well or that much. And so this week I'm like, I feel like I'm actually like working it, if that makes sense. And so it just like made me even that much more like excited and passionate about like what we get to do, because I was telling Paige earlier, like I've had at least 3 people say, oh yeah, like I've been really seeing like what you've been doing the past like week, and I wanted to reach out to you, but I didn't really know like exactly how or anything. And so I'm glad you did. And I was like, whoa, what the heck? So yeah.
Love it. You attract what you talk about for sure. And even though it feels scary to talk about coaching or scary to talk about income or whatever, like some people are waiting for you to talk about it and waiting for you to ask them about it. So that's huge. Who else?
So I signed my husband up, and he was one of my coaches. And then I signed another friend up as a discount coach. And then I signed a client up. And then next week, I have sent out a share cart for another friend to sign up as a coach when she gets paid on Friday. So I'll have 1 coach for next week out.
She went from 0 coaches to it'll be 3 coaches in less than 2 weeks. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And she's going to be an emerald when Thursday rolls around. And Erin in our group, she's not here tonight, but she's also going to be an emerald on Thursday. So those are also huge wins. Anybody else have a celebration to share? Okay.
The coach. I'll just say that. Sorry.
No, go ahead. What'd you say?
I added a coach, which is exciting. I also think that just being able to kind of lead by example, and then like having the layout and being able to, I guess, go further in depth because I'm doing it with my current coaches. So it's like, since we're doing it together, I think it gives some of them a little bit more confidence in their posting, and if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's a huge win for sure. Anyone else? All right, I'm going to move on to I don't want to say, it's not criticism at all. Actually, the word I wrote, I put more, and then I wrote a list, and I put proud, and I wrote a list. So what I'm going to say now is more of like what I want to see more of this week, and just like really fine tuning what we're already doing. So my mind is kind of all over the place. I have a couple bullet points that don't even go together, so I'm just going to go down the line. Number 1 is act like a CEO. So I want you to start thinking about what you would expect somebody to act like if you were walking into an interview Like, what kind of posture would they have when they were talking to you? What kind of confidence would be in their voice when they were talking to you? And I want you to place yourself in that position of CEO of your business, because I'm telling you, when you do that, things start to change. I did that for my business probably 8 or 9 months in, before I was Diamond, and not long after I made that decision to just walk and talk as if I had this growing team, I actually did have a growing team. So act like the CEO of your business. Yes, there's this part of our business that's like really relaxed and they get to see the behind the scenes and all of that. There's a certain way that a leader, that a CEO, that a business owner talks about their business and what they're doing, that you know without a doubt that they have confidence and they're growing and they're going somewhere. They're going somewhere. So make sure when you're talking about growing your team that you are walking and talking and posting with that confidence, and people know for sure that you are a leader that cares. You're a leader that's going to lead by example, and you're a leader that's going to help them find success. They have to have that confidence in you before they ever sign up. I'm telling you, I would have never signed up had I not trusted that Megan, my coach, was going to lead the way for me. So make sure they know that you can lead the way for them. And even if you're brand new, even if you're a month in, 2 months in, you know enough to help somebody be successful. And if you don't, I do. And if I don't, Megan does. Like, that's the beauty of this, is we all get to help out each other. So that's the first thing. Second thing, clear deadlines. I think this is such a simple thing, but it's so important that people know you have a deadline for your coach mentorship. So I don't really care when it is. I don't care how you do this, but they need a time frame in which they're going to sign up to be a coach with you. Otherwise, they're never going to pull the trigger. You have to give them a date to say, like, my mentorship or like this closes on this specific date. And I'm going to leave that completely up to you. I don't care. Whatever you want to do is fine with me, but make sure there's a deadline for them so they know and they feel this sense of urgency. And on that same note, do the same things with challenge groups too. Like, you always have to have a deadline in mind, or like you could even say, like, your mentorship with me is going to start on like September. I don't know, the second Monday in September. I don't know that date, but you could say, like, coach mentorship begins on September 10th. That's made up. I don't know when that date is. But if it begins on September 10th, then you need to keep telling them, like, you've got to sign up before then, and we'll begin on September 10th. Like, you've got to say it over and over and over again. They say it takes 7 times of hearing something for somebody to really actually hear it. So don't feel like you're talking about it too much. You should be putting out the date every single day of the end. And you should be making them know every single day that this opportunity is open to them. Okay? The next thing is just consistency and flow, and that kind of goes along with what I was just saying. I think it was Tiffany this week. She did something, and I don't even know if it was related to coaching. I can't remember at all. But she was talking about something in her stories and left it off and forced them to go to her actual post. Was that you, Tiffany? Okay, so I think that's so wise to make sure that the things you're doing on social media are connecting. Drive them to your story from your post. Drive them to your post from your story, and make sure things are kind of flowing together, and make sure that whatever it is you're promoting for, you are consistently, like, you have this flow of promotion. That does not mean that you're talking about it 24/7, but it means that the thing you're promoting for, they're continuing to hear it until the promotion is over. And then for me, I like to have a break. So that's why that like connect week is in there. And then you start a new promotion, and there's this flow, and there's this consistency, and there's this deadline of when it ends every single time. Does that make sense? So make sure there's consistency and flow when you're talking about this coach mentorship that's going on right now. The next 2 things are just like random.
Hold on. Wait.
Yeah.
Regarding that, what is a good example of that flow? Like, what does that visually look like between your posts and your stories?
So I think it just really honestly looks like talking about the same thing. And it can be different for everybody. That's where I kind of hesitate with giving you examples. But like, if I am running a coach mentorship, I'm also talking about coaching and coach mentorship in my stories that day too. I'm not just going to leave people hanging and be like, oh, I'm going to post about this, and then my story is about something completely different. So just make sure it goes together in whatever way makes sense in your head. The next 2 things go together. Cheering each other on and finding a success partner within our diamond push. So number 1, when you see somebody talking about coaching online, like if you happen to be going by their stories or they have a post or whatever, and if you think it's good, cheer them on, whether that is a direct message to them, like, I loved that, great job, or especially what I really was going for was in our diamond group. Like if somebody hits goals or somebody's being shouted out or somebody posts about doing something brave, like cheer the crap out of that person, because that's what this is about. Like that is one of my favorite things about what we get to do as coaches is we don't see her success as our failure or our competition. We actually get to cheer her on, and that makes us stronger. So when you hit a goal, you are going to want people there cheering you on. So make sure that you're also cheering on the girls who are hitting goals. I think that's super important. And then find somebody within this group that you can kind of hold each other accountable, that you can get feedback from, because I'm doing my best, like really, really doing my best to watch all of your lives and to watch your stories and see your posts. But it'd also be really helpful if you have somebody that you can be like, hey, can you look this over and give me some feedback? Or if you go live or whatever, have somebody else watch it too, to have another pair of eyes and ears on it, and somebody that you can just confide in through this whole thing. Because I wish I could do that for every single one of you, but I just can't. So of course I'm going to give you feedback every step of the way, but to do it like for every single post or every single story or every single live, like I don't have the time in the day. So make sure that you have somebody on the team that you can trust, that you have a good relationship with, that can also do that for you. I think that's going to be really important. And somebody that you kind of match up with, like find somebody who has similar goals to you, and run with them. Because some of you, I know, I can see some of you sitting here, you're like, you've told me I would love to go full-time, okay? So don't pair up with somebody who has no intentions of going full-time. Some of you love your full-time jobs, and that's great because you can make a full-time income on part-time hours while you work your full-time job. But you probably want to be paired with somebody who also wants to keep their full-time job and just make another income. So have that conversation with people. If you need help with that too, let me know, because I'd love to help set you up.
I have a question about that.
Yes.
Can we have like a post or something where kind of people share their goals? Because I don't know everybody in this group, so I don't know what their goals are.
Yes, that's something I will put out. Could you remind me tomorrow, Courtney? Could you remind me to do that? And I will do that tomorrow. Okay, the next thing, okay, I have two things I wanted to talk about that I don't have answers for, so you can kind of throw in your input here. The first one is live videos. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm proud of you for doing them, but they were not interesting to me. And I think that's live videos in general. So I'm thinking of how we can change Friday to something different, because I personally never watch live videos. I don't enjoy live videos. Nobody ever engages with my live videos, and I think there's a reason. So I think we need to figure out either how to do live videos differently so people engage with us, or change up what we do on Friday. So that's totally my bad, just because I was just trying to think of a way to get you out of your comfort zone. And I actually do think it was good for a lot of you, but I think it was better for you gaining courage rather than actually do anything to push our businesses forward. So I just want you to be thinking about that this week and thinking of an answer to that thing of what do we do on Friday? And also, once I started watching, I'm like, also Friday's a terrible day to go live, because probably you're going to do it after work and nobody's going to be having time to watch live videos after work. So I'm going to be rethinking that. And if you have feedback, just let me know for what we can change that to. And the last thing I had before I just open it up for questions is, once September rolls around, you're probably not going to want to promote for coaching the entire month of September, because that could probably hurt your Success Club points. So I just wanted to throw that out there of how are we going to approach this coming into the month of September? Because the way I've found it is that promoting for my challenge groups the first 2 weeks and promoting coaching the second 2 weeks is actually the way to go. And I don't want to hurt you by having you start out September by only talking about coaching. So partly I wanted to maybe throw it out there to our first 2 weeks of September, we have a balance of still talking about coaching, but making our main promotion about challenge groups, but you sign up discount coaches. That's just something that I was thinking about over the weekend that I wasn't really sure how to help you with, because the last thing I want this to do is harm your Success Club numbers. But at the end of the day, I think that your goal of getting to Diamond is a really worthwhile goal right now, since you can earn the retreat. So any feedback on either of those things. And then I'm just going to open up for question and answer for this following week. And at the end, I'm going to pull up our schedule and just kind of chat through that. But I want to be conscious of time. I don't want to keep you too long past 8.
So something that this isn't really a question. Yes, it's kind of like in response to what you were just talking about. So something that Courtney Harden always talks about that she does is like rotating between like what she's talking about. So then people are, which I mean, this obviously isn't going to work for everybody, but it's like, so you're kind of talking a little bit about what it's like to be a challenger and a little bit about real life and a little bit about what it's like to be coaching. And it's, I mean, I personally think that, you know, if someone is interested in one of those things, then they will keep watching you because of that one thing. Personal opinion, I mean, and again, it works different for everybody, but it's like, I also talk to people differently that are following me, or like the people that are interacting with my posts. Like I go to their page and I see like, okay, they're already really good at social media and they're already really like willing to just talk to some stranger on Instagram. So yeah, I'm going to talk to them about coaching. But if they have like a more reserved looking page, then I usually just talk to them about being a challenger.
Yeah, I think that's a really wise way to look at it. Do you think there's a way that we can promote for challenge groups the first 2 weeks like heavily and get us to Success Club and still make progress with getting coaches? Like, is that possible? I know it's possible, but do you feel like it's possible? And what do I need to do to help you if that's the path that we're going to take? Or do we scratch that and we say, let's keep going with our 6 weeks to Diamond and we'll just figure it out. And it's okay if our Success Club numbers are a little bit lower, but we're confident that we're going to meet these goals and still hit Success Club. You know what I'm like? I just need your feedback because I don't know where you are.
I feel like you're more likely to get coaches through talking about a challenge group than you are to get challengers talking about coaching, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So I feel like, you know, if you're really talking about your challenge group and like what it's all about and your role in the challenge group, you're still going to be able to attract coaches personally, I think, because like, I mean, they're going to see the discount and like even just within the conversation, you can talk about, you know, the coaching side. I think a lot of it is just going to be if you can get the hook on the challenge group, then you can get the hook on coaching.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So my next question is, do I need to change the calendar to reflect this or what? So I don't want anybody to be confused.
I'm going to pull up the calendar and look at it real quick.
I feel like the main things from the calendar that we change would just be the goals. Like maybe the 2 emeralds would be more towards the end, and those 2 discount coaches that are at the end could be pushed up towards like where we would promote the challenge groups, because
that's a really good point.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So it's kind of weird because we started this at a weird time in the month, I feel like. So we're through the second week. So this week, should I put 2 discount coaches as the goal? Because I'm editing this as we're chatting.
I think so because